1st of November will be a very important day for the teaching profession in Ireland, because from that day all teachers working in recognised schools will have to be registered with the Teaching Council. The Teaching Council is the professional standards body for teaching. What that means in practice is that it promotes and regulates the profession of teaching. I think it's important to remember that as of now 99.99% of all teachers are currently registered. So as long as they maintain and renew their registration on time, they have nothing to worry about. For those teachers who are not already registered, I think the first thing we're keen to point out and to emphasise is that we want to work with them in ensuring that they are registered in time for the 1st of November. The second thing I would say is that if a teacher does not apply for registration, we cannot help them. So in that light, the best thing they can do now is to apply immediately for registration, and we will do everything we can to ensure that their application is processed in time for the 1st of November. For those teachers who are already registered, firstly, I would like to say thank you to those teachers for recognising the value of having a professional standards body for the profession. And secondly, I would ask them to go into their registration account on the Teaching Council website, that's teachingcouncil.ie, and firstly check when the renewal date is so they can renew in plenty of time, and secondly to make sure that their contact details are up to date. The Council is prioritising applications from unregistered teachers for those who are currently in employment at the time of application. That's for the very simple reason that those teachers will be most immediately and directly affected by Section 30 when it's commenced on the 1st of November. We would ask those teachers to submit clear evidence of their employment status, and that could include, for example, a current payslip or a letter from the school principal including the school roll number. I think in order to ensure that we give the best possible service to those in greatest need, we would ask teachers only to contact us with queries if they are unsure as to the status of their outstanding documentation, or if the frequently asked questions on the website don't address their queries. If teachers still have queries after looking at the frequently asked questions, for example, there are two methods those queries can be submitted to us. One is by means of a dedicated phone line for Section 30 queries that's open from 9 AM to 5 PM 5 days a week, and that number is 01 651 7911. Of course, queries can also be submitted via email to section30@teachingcouncil.ie. For teachers who have submitted an application for registration and are happy that their outstanding documentation has been submitted, but simply want to know where their application is at right now, we would ask those particular queries be submitted by email only, quoting the application reference number or the PPS number to that email address, section30@teachingcouncil.ie. If you are not registered and have not submitted an application yet, we'd say to those teachers to submit that application form immediately. That form can be downloaded from our website, teachingcouncil.ie, to be printed off at home and filled in. A number of items of documentation must be submitted along with that form, and those are detailed on our website and in the form itself. One of those items of documentation is the Garda vetting form. And what we're saying to teachers is firstly, get that Garda vetting form in as a matter of utmost priority, because that can take some time to process. We are also saying that subject to all the other conditions being met in the application process, if the Garda vetting form comes back with no matters arising, no further queries, we will aim to ensure that those teachers are registered in time for the 1st of November. And finally, for those teachers in that category, I would say please double check everything before you submit the application form to our offices to minimise any delays in the process. If you are not registered and have submitted an application form, we would say to those teachers to find the most recent letter from the Council, which may outline or list some outstanding items of documentation. If there is documentation still required, please submit that documentation immediately. If you can't find the letter or for any reason you're unsure as to where your application is at, you can submit your query by phone or by email. There's a dedicated phone line for Section 30 queries only, which is open 9 AM to 5 PM 5 days a week, and that number is 01 651 7911. Email queries can be sent to section30@teachingcouncil.ie. If you're already registered with the Teaching Council, we would ask you to go to the Registered Teacher Login facility on the Teaching Council's homepage on the website, that's teachingcouncil.ie. And through that process, we would ask those teachers to do two things. Firstly, to confirm when the renewal date falls due, and that's to enable them to make sure that they renew in plenty of time. And secondly, through that process, to ensure that all their contact details are up to date. Home address, email, contact numbers, etc. And that's to enable the Council to make every possible effort to notify them in plenty of time before the renewal date falls due. I think it's important for those teachers in particular whose renewal date falls due between now and the 1st of November that they renew in plenty of time, and they can do so online through that Registered Teacher Login facility. Currently, over 75% of teachers renew their registration online.